1 Timothy chapter 4, verse 15, Paul says, put these abilities to work. You see that? Put these abilities to work. Circle that phrase, abilities to work. Throw yourself into your tasks. God expects you to put your abilities to work, and one of the very best places to do that is right here in church. Right here at church. Serving in some ministry. And I don't believe it's a mistake that you're here. I believe you're here this morning because God brought you here to learn something about how to use your abilities. To learn something about serving. See, what God does is amazing. He builds a church like this one and brings into the church all of the necessary people that are needed to fulfill God's purpose in this community through this church. So the purpose that God has for this church could be different from the church down the street because we have a different set of people here in this church. You understand that? And God said, if you're going to the bridge, these are the kind of people I'm going to need at the bridge to be able to fulfill my purpose in the community there in Corona through the Bridge Church. And I don't believe it's a mistake that you're here this morning. God brought you here this morning so that you could understand that He wants to use you in serving Him through this church body by using your abilities. Now, I want to illustrate that for you. So I've got some stuff here with me that I'm going to use to illustrate what it means to be used by God. My favorite sandwich is a ham and cheese. All right? Do you have a favorite sandwich? Now, I didn't bring everything that I like on my ham and cheese, but this is pretty good right here. I've got some mustard. What would a ham and cheese sandwich be without mustard? People say, well, I like mayo on mine. Are you kidding me? You just ruin it. Mustard is the way to go on a ham and cheese, right? What good would it be of a ham and cheese sandwich without Swiss cheese? Got to have Swiss cheese on a ham and cheese sandwich. What good would it be if you didn't have any ham on a ham and cheese sandwich? I mean, would that be a very good sandwich? What good would it be if I didn't have any bread? Now, preferably I'd like some rye, all right? Not white, but I'd like rye. Ham and cheese, rye, ooh, mustard, pickle, yeah. It's the best, right? It's the best. Now, I want you to think of these items here as the resources that we gather from our refrigerator to be able to make the ham and cheese sandwich. And I want you to go one step further than that. I want you to think of these things as you. You're the mustard. You're the bread. You're the cheese. You're the ham. God brought you, you're the resources that God brought to this church so that we could fulfill His purpose and make it the best church it could become. If you're not using your abilities and we don't have any mustard, something is lacking in the church. We're not going to be the best church that we can be. We're not going to be able to accomplish God's purpose in this community because you're not willing to use your abilities. You said, well, I'm the mustard, but I'm just not going to do it today. Too bad. You're the bread. See, I'm not going to use my abilities to serve God. Now what are we down to? Ham and cheese. Pretty boring. And if one of you says, I'm the ham and I don't want to be here today and I don't want to use my abilities, what does it come? Thanks. It'll come off when I shake their hands. When you and I aren't using our abilities, the church is not going to be at its best. It's just that simple. Just like this sandwich is not at its best when there's no mustard, when there's no bread, when there's no cheese, and there's no ham. It's lacking. That's why it's so important that we use our abilities, folks. That's why it's so important that we liberate them. Look what it says in Luke chapter 2, verse 43, or 12, verse 43. When the master comes and finds the servant doing his work, the servant will be what? You circle that word blessed. Gosh, who doesn't want to be blessed by God when he comes and he returns? Who doesn't want to be blessed? I mean, we all want to be blessed by God. Listen, the only way we're going to be blessed is if we're doing what God wants us to do with what he's given to us.